Here's the Power Specter build. I take the Marauder Amulet and Vampirism Runes because you want a lot of Vitality, because the Vitality not only helps you survive because thieves have very low health baseline, but also because the Shroud is going to scale well because you get a percentage of your health in Shroud. So you get more Shroud, the more health you have. So it's very nice to have Marauder. You can also take Divinity Rune, and then whenever you enter Shroud, you will trigger your swap sigils. So in Sword, Pistol, I like to have Energy Cleansing because it's more of a kiting weapon set, and Utility. And then I take Sigil of Opportunity and Revocation. You can really replace Opportunity with anything, but a little bit more damage to the target when you have Chill on them. And the Twilight combo, which is your main ability in your Scepter Dagger, is going to chill the target for quite some time and do a decent amount of damage as well. So as your main damaging ability on this build in your Scepter is the Twilight combo. You just throw it out at the target, got to be facing them, and it will do chill, which is nice. So the traits are going to be Shadow Arts, Trickery, and Specter. You want to be taking the Hungering Darkness, obviously, because that's condition removal. You don't really have it anywhere else. And then Traversing Dark, because that's synergy with your Wells. The Wells are going to give you Alacrity. 4 seconds of Alacrity is basically equivalent to reducing all of your cooldowns by 1 second. So that's very good synergy with pretty much anything. You also want to go into your options and enable skill retargeting and change your ground targeting to instant, which will allow you to change the positioning of your Wells mid-cast. So that's kind of nice for when the enemies are moving or the situation changes, so you can make fast reactions and change the positioning of your well to be on your allies to heal them and support them, or to get your elite skill to be on the enemies when it finishes. And then it's going to give healing to nearby allies whenever you shadow step. And you also have that trait in Shadow Arts. So you basically heal for like 1,000 to your allies whenever you shadow step near them. So it's a little bit of support. This is more of a roamer build than a support build. So you're gonna give a little bit of support to your allies, but you're also gonna be able to get kills and stuff like that. And then I like to take Consume Shadows, which is a little bit less selfish. Essentially, whenever you go in Shroud, you're going to get stacks. You want to get at least 5 stacks over time. And then whenever you leave Shroud, it's going to heal nearby allies. And that's great support for going in and out of your Shroud. And pretty much just depleting your Shroud for your allies. Whereas if you're going for more of like a smaller scale situation, you probably want to go for like Shallow Grave or Second Opinion, where you don't lose all of your Shroud every time you leave. But because I like the ability to go in my Shroud and then use all of my abilities, because the Shroud abilities have long cooldowns, so you're not going to get too much value out of just staying in Shroud other than just tanking up. So you want to just go in, do the 2 skill, the 4 skill, and then the 5 and 3 are like CC. And then you can use the 2 again, but you're pretty much on cooldown anyways. So by then you've got the 5 stacks and you just heal your allies. And that's pretty much what I like to do with Shroud. So I like that instead of the others. But yeah, you could take these if you want a more selfish build. And then obviously Trickery is going to have the basic Trickery stuff whenever you steal. Your steal is actually going to slow the target, and it will stealth you because of Hidden Thief. There's a lot of stealthing synergy with this build. You get barrier whenever you stealth an ally, and you get a little less barrier whenever you use a sneak attack. And the sneak attacks are pretty important as well because of the Rending Shade, and it's going to do some life siphoning. But the Rending Shade will rip boons from the target. You also have the Revocation Sigil, which will do that as well, and Bountiful Theft. So you remove a lot of boons from the target, so it's very easy for you to focus targets with your team. And what's also really important when you're in stealth is the Scepter sneak attack. So if I go in stealth here, you can see the Scepter gives a Shadow Squall at the bottom there. It gives, well, you can't actually read it because I'm okay, let's try that again. You can't read the tooltip because it's so large, but you can see here Shadow Squall gives, it said 8 pulses, and then that will heal for 500 each pulse. So essentially you want to go in stealth by stealing, and then you want to target an ally and then use the sneak attack there, and that gives a lot of regeneration, and it gives out like 4,000 healing if you land all those bolts. So what I like to do is use Well of Gloom, which is going to put you in stealth because of the minor trait here, Concealing Restoration. That'll give you stealth, and then you use the heal skill, really good heal, and then you can steal to the enemy, and then you can choose whether to use the sneak attack on the enemy to remove a boon, or you can use it on your ally to heal them. Usually it's better to use it on an ally because it gives quite a bit of healing. And then you've also, you can give stealth to your allies as well, which would give them barrier with the blinding powder. You could go into black powder and use your shroud too, which would give them stealth, and then you can also leap through it to give yourself stealth. So there's some nice combos to get in stealth there. Now obviously this is mostly a roamer build, so you're not going to be focusing on healing all the time. So what you like to do is you steal to the target, and then either gonna immobilize them with the Infiltrator Strike, and then from there you can go into Shroud once they're immobilized and use the 4 skill, which does quite a bit of damage, and the 2 skill can be used from range, so those are your main damage, and then from there you can use the 5 and the 3 for CC. So yeah, the immobilize, once you get that, you do the burst, you come out, and then you'll Scepter 3. So the playstyle of the build is more like you just spam all of your initiative, and then you go in Shroud, use all of your Shrouds, spam that out. We didn't talk about the sword pistol too much, but you've got headshot in there, and you've got pistol whip, so you've got a decent amount of CCs, though they don't really do too much damage. And the Infiltrator Strike can't be used for mobility, which is also really important because you want to be getting around the map, and Sharp Bow is not really that good on Specter because you're 3 less initiative from the passive there. So that's kind of like the main way that your mechanics work on this build. There's some cool things you can do where you can like do a well, and then you can port in the middle of that well with the sword too. You can do it with this one, I believe. You just spam the 2, and then you put the well down on the next location, but you're not really using that too often unless you don't want to telegraph your elite skill like this, and it's you just spam the 2 skill in the middle of the animation there. And yeah, that's pretty much the idea. Here's a full ranked match as the Power Specter. My role is a roamer / support. I can support my allies when they need, and I can go roam around for kills when they need. So I give stealth, and we go towards mid while my duelist goes to far. I see that they have a core guardian, so I'm going to pressure them with my chill from the Scepter 3 and bait out their cooldowns for the ensuing fight. Now my ranger is heavily outnumbered, so we have to get stuff done here, but they have 2 supports at mid, so we're maybe not in the best spot here because we could go to far, but then that would be making the fight even. So I really want to just 3v2 this. Actually, I give my Necro a little bit of healing by going in stealth with my heal skill, and then giving them my Shadow Squall, the Scepter sneak attack there. They get the Tempest down, and I port in, use the Shadowfall just to make sure that no one goes for the res. And I'm trying to support them with my Shroud, but it actually targeted the Catalyst instead of the Necro. So whoever you're targeting when you go into your Shroud is who you will support, and since I wasn't targeting anyone, it picked the wrong target. But I got interrupted on my heal there, so that's really bad, and I'm trying to support this Necro, but I am getting focused and getting interrupted and losing all of my wells because of power block. So I've got all of my skills on cooldown because I've been interrupted, and if I can't use my wells, I don't get Alacrity, which means I can't get my skills back, and I don't get Shroud because the skill gives you Shroud when you use a well. So that's quite unfortunate that I keep getting interrupted there, and I probably could have played safer as well because I'm supporting a Necro who's in Shroud, and you can't really heal them. You can only give them barrier while they're in Shroud, and the barrier is just more Shroud, so that's not really helping too much. So the Necro was kind of the bait for our team, And yeah, we get taken out here, but we do have side nodes, so we're not in a bad situation here. So I'm going to respawn. They're going for a decap on our home, but we can go +1 that and help our Necro to get the kill. I believe that's their Tempest there. So we can just chase that and see if we can get the kill so that we can regroup and get out of here. So we get the Immobilize into... I'm going to go for some Pistol Whips just to CC them for my team. The Pistol Whip doesn't do poor damage, but it does not amazing damage for sure. I land the Shadowfall to prevent them from kiting, and my team is securing this kill. My Necro is pretty low, but I end up giving the Shroud benefits to the Catalyst anyways, and we're just going to keep spamming chill on this Vindicator so that they can't get out. We get the down, but their core support guardian is coming in and they have stability, so I can't prevent that res because my steel was just coming off cooldown. So I go to Shadow Step for the decap at mid, and now that we've got that decap, we can start pressuring the kill with our team. I get the Immobilize and then I use Shroud 4, and then I'm just going to keep chasing with Pistol Whips to try to prevent them from getting out so my team can focus the target. So the CC is really important. Now my Necro is getting focused by the Vindicator here. Once again, I try to support them while they're in Shroud, but I can't do that. So once they leave Shroud, I can support them again, but no need. We can just chase the Guardian and spam Scepter 3 on them and get the kill. Now I'm immobilizing the Vindicator there. I gotta be careful around that Greatsword 5, and they're actually going for the res, so I go for some Pistol Whip to stop that, and then I Shadowfall on their entire team, which is going to lock them down so that our Necro and Catalyst can start getting these kills. And I go in Shroud here just to heal them a little bit. And yeah, we can chase that, but there's a Ranger in downstate here, and I just got to stomp that or that's going to get revived. And since I stay back behind anyways, I should probably get the full cap on mid. I use a little bit of Alacrity there just to get my other cooldowns back faster. Now I see that my Ranger is in need of help at far here. I do a misplay by stealing early. I could have stolen into the Guardian to prevent them from rezzing, but I didn't, and they get the res. Now I stealth to give the Shadow Squall to my Ranger there. You can see I gave 6,000 healing, which is nice, but I use my stun break to do that, and that means that I have no stun break to get out of the Rangers one shot there, the Sikkim Rangers, and I get destroyed because I had no stun break and they just are running a full glass build. Though I did support my Ranger enough to get them back into their situation there. So the 1v1 at home is doing pretty well. I can +1 that anyways though, because my team probably needs to regroup after that because they're all dying at mid. So I go into home and just try to get this kill while we can. And I'm going for the Scepter 3, just trying to prevent them from getting out. Go for some CCs, but they don't land. I go for the Shadowfall, but they evade that as well. And yeah, they're really low, but the Vindicator dodge just gives so much resustain. Now I try to disengage from the one-shot Ranger here by line of sighting, but I immobilize and actually play pretty aggressively just because the Shroud abilities actually heal you. So yeah, there's like 3 of them near mid, so I'm just trying to kite around with the Sword 2. I go in stealth here, and yeah, I precast my Shroud 2 there into the Shroud 4, which gives quite a bit of counter pressure, and I'm line of sighting the Rapid Fire. I do a nice little Scepter 3 there, and the Ranger's low. I'm going to use my Well to get in a good position to decap while line of sighting the projectiles, and then I steal to them. Now they have their barrier and a lot of their damage and sick them up, so I keep line of sighting and porting around to keep line of sighting here. So we get a nice immobilize. Their heal skill is up, so they get out of the immobilize. And yeah, our Necro is coming into mid, and so is their Mirage, but I'm supporting them decently. I go in stealth there so I don't get focused, and I land a nice Scepter 3 and they die to fall damage. So now we're in a 2v1. I'm supporting my my Lich form there while they are trying to get some casts off here. We get the kill here, maybe? Yeah, we're going to get the kill. And their Guardian is here, but I, once again, don't have the ability to interrupt them because my steel is on cooldown. So at this point, I'm going to use my sword return back to the node to keep capping that. My Necro's in Shroud, so I can't really help them, but their Vindicator shows up, so I Pistol Whip to evade their Greatsword 5, and I use Shadow Squall, but once again, they're in Shroud. I have to be very careful because I'm getting focused again, and I have Stealth from the Blinding Powder here, and I'm just spamming Scepter 3 to get more Shroud. I put down my Black Powder and blast it for some stealth, but we get the kill actually instead, and now my Necro is in, or that's actually my Catalyst is in a bad spot. So we try to rally them, but they didn't actually rally from that. So they're going to misform over to us. I try to interrupt, but yeah, there's not much I can do to revive this. And my CCs are going out. I am pretty pressured here, so I have to disengage again. And I go in stealth with the Black Powder and Blinding Powder. And I'm just using the wells to disengage because their entire team is chasing me. So I'm regrouping with my team at home. And there's a Tempest here. We can, well, they're projectile reflecting, so we can't really do much here. I'm going to try to go in Shroud here with the blasts to resustain. And once I leave Shroud here, I'm going to have no Shroud. So I want to get some value out of it and heal myself once I leave. So we leave, and now we're trying to prevent the Ranger here from pressuring our team. So I'm just spamming CCs on them, but their support is there now. So I'm backing off. And we're just gonna, we need to regroup really. We can't push out of this map because if I leave here, then my team will instantly die. So I am trying to pressure their one-shot Ranger, but no one else is really on the target. They're just kind of standing on node. You'll see that a lot with many players. They don't really have an understanding of progressing fights. But since I land the Shadowfall, they're able to press their one skill on the target. And I'm just going to leave because, yeah, I've got the Ranger on me again. And since we've got a kill there, I'm removing 2 players from that fight. And I also am going to get the decap here. So that's pretty value for us to win that fight. Plus, they're kind of losing mid. You know, the Ranger's going back in, so I signal to the team to not get decap for free there. And the Revenant appears at mid, so I'm trying to survive with Pistol Whip. Got Shroud here, so I should be fine, even though I took quite a bit of burst damage there. So yeah, I'm going to go into Shroud. My teammate is actually around back, and their Mesmer is here, so I'm playing very safely. I get destroyed though, because for some reason my heal skill did not get cast there. It went on like a cooldown, so maybe I interrupted it or something. So that was kind of unfortunate. I died again, but we were kind of outnumbered. Ideally, though, I wouldn't die when we were outnumbered if I had used my cooldowns. So I'm not really sure if that's a bug or I just have a different skill priority. Usually heal skills have higher priority than other skills, so I don't know how that got canceled, but it went on like a 4-second cooldown, so I couldn't use it, and I died in that time. So I would have gotten the barrier, and I would have gotten a lot of healing if it had casted. So now we're just gonna go into far because I know that my Ranger is trying to hold that node, and I'm not really finding too much confidence with the rest of my team. So I want to make sure that they win. So I use all of my ports, Shadowfall in, and we're just going to spam Scepter 3 on them while they're CC'd by the Shadowfall. I can use my Fear here, but they block. And yeah, my Shroud 4 and 5 get them CC locked so we can get the kill for our team. So that is pretty decent. We're still 100 points ahead because their team, while they are winning a lot of fights because they're investing a lot of resources into those fights, they're not rotating and spreading out when they need to. So I'm going to head into mid. I see that their Mesmer and Guardian are there, so that's not bad for me to stall too, but the Mesmer rotates out. And I can go into home to try to prevent the rest of their team from snowballing into ours. Just pressuring the Mesmer here, and I'm going to take my Shadow Return back, and I'm going to use my port here to get in stealth and use my Scepter auto attack to heal my Necro. But yeah, they just die very quickly because the Ranger, the one-shot Ranger is on them. And my Catalyst is also dead, so we're in a really bad spot here because we could lose. So I've got a lot of Condis on me, and I'm just trying to get out of there with Shroud. I port so I can try to survive. I'm dodging and using ports back and forth, and now I can target the Beast to port out of danger there and survive. So even though my entire team died there, me surviving is pretty good because now we can prevent them from snowballing into mid because the Ranger just wasted their Sikkim on me and I'm line of sighting. So we're in a pretty decent spot here. I go in stealth and I get a full heal from the trait there. So the Ranger, yeah, I'm just trying to bait their cooldowns because their team really relies on momentum, and if I'm splitting them up, they can't Zerg us. So I'm just using ports here to get out of there. And at this point, the Ranger is pretty much out of cooldown, so we're going to head into mid and support our allies there. I am low on cooldowns too, though, so I have to be very careful with my positioning. Yeah, the Mesmer is now focusing me, and I'm just supporting my team, giving them the Shroud abilities and the Wells. I'm going to use my Well to get on top of this ledge here just to be super safe. Yeah, the Ranger is still focusing me, but I'm supporting my team and giving them some value. I go in stealth here, and yeah, they missed their worldly impact, but I'm porting around just to get the extra healing from Shadow Steps, and I'm able to survive with just porting around. And I got my Shroud up again because I've used so many ports, and initiative gives you Shroud as well, and the Wells, and using more Wells gives you Alacrity to give you more Wells. So yeah, just spamming skills is going to give you Shroud. I get back into Shroud and that heals me, so now we've pretty much won the game. So if you like this content, then like the video, subscribe for more, and I will see you all next time.